Hey guys, I am back. Had some life changes that occurred. Recently got married, right here, and I relocated to Kentucky. All right, now keep in mind on these responses, this is with my experience. I have almost 20 years experience of coaching swimming from like 3-year-olds, infants, all the way up to college level swimmers and adult lap swimmers. So these are my best practices, the things that have worked for me. I've seen a lot of success, and I try to approach this in a way that swimmers may not have the most extensive swimming knowledge. So it's easy to understand and to actually implement while you're swimming. All right, now Karen Fix asked me this question about 3 months ago. That's how far behind I am on this right now. But she says, I just joined a swim team and I noticed that when doing 25s makes me very tired very quickly, and I become super slow, especially when I do flip turns. So she's having trouble with the flip turns. Now, my best advice for that is that if you're just starting out and you're just getting going on a swim team, it does take a little bit of time to actually build up your stamina. You're probably aware of that, just as far as the amount of yardage that you're going to do. But it also takes a good portion of time and focus on your turns. When you start doing turns, you'll notice that there's a lot of action, especially with the flip turn, is that you take your last breath, then you come into the wall, then you do your flip turn, and then you come out from the wall with the streamline, and then you start your stroke once you break the surface. And that's a long time to hold your breath, especially if you're a little bit winded from swimming anyways. So that in particular takes a long time to build up to really be able to do that successfully. When you're talking about competitive swimmers, usually they want to take, I mean, you'll find different numbers, but usually it's at least 2, if not 3 or 4 or 5 strokes after they break the surface before coaches really want them to take their first breath. And that's because there's so much speed on the walls, you know, so you're taking speed in and you want to take that speed out. And the easiest way to slow yourself down with freestyle is to take a breath, is to break that rhythm, break that speed, and actually just take a breath. And then the coaches are going, no, if you do it like right at the wall. Just be careful, Karen, getting frustrated, because that is something, not only do you have to build up stamina for the yardage, but you also have to build up stamina for the flip turn to be able to make it through successfully without running out of breath. All right, the next question is from Jake Ortega, and he has a little bit of question about crossing the midline. Now that's something that a lot of swimmers will struggle with, is that the midline actually runs straight down the center of your body. It can run this way or this way, but usually it's referred to straight up and down this way. And then your body actually rolls from side to side with freestyle and backstroke. It rolls on that midline. And what you don't want your stroke to do is actually cross that midline. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably know this. I hit on it several times. But what Jake is asking is, is there techniques or tricks to not crossing the midline, or is it just something that you think about and you kind of make sure that you don't do while you're swimming? Which is actually an excellent question, because a lot of swimmers probably struggle with this. And the answer is, the best answer that I have, is that it is something that you just need to change your approach towards the stroke. And like with freestyle, in my experience, one of the biggest problems that swimmers will have is that when they come across, they'll actually cross their body and then they'll pull across their body this way a lot of times. And that's actually a bad technique, because it makes you zigzag down the pool and you're not getting as much straight forward as you can out of the stroke. So, and I've noticed that people, it's almost like they treat their freestyle stroke like when they throw a baseball and it goes across their body. They actually treat it in that same manner. They've got that same arm motion. So what I told Jake on my response was, treat it like, instead of throwing a baseball across your body like you normally would, act like you're throwing a baseball straight down on the ground with your arm. So when you come through, it's more of a, yes, there's an elongated S, but it's more of a straight back pattern than that crossing of the body, which can cause a lot of problems with your stroke, and especially going into the flip turn. If you cross over that body, it can cause you to flip over on your side instead of going straight end over end. So there are problems that actually come from that, but that's a great question, Jake. So I hope that cleared things up. Well, the next question is from Gainda Swami Manhoon. Hope I'm saying that right. But this swimmer actually has a question that about the timing of their stroke. They have a little bit of trouble with freestyle as far as syncing up the timing of their arms, so making it feel smooth and consistent. And one of the big things is that you actually have to set the timing with your shoulder girdle through here, like through your shoulders. This is the part that needs to remain consistent with the motion. It's not necessarily your arms. Your arms are an extension of this part. So if this part doesn't have a smooth motion, then you're going to find yourself swimming one arm at a time, and you're never going to find that consistent rhythm. So actually set that rhythm with your shoulder girdle. So Gainda, I hope that helps, and thank you for the question. That was actually an excellent one because a lot of swimmers probably actually struggle with that. All right, this next one is from Christie's. It's like 3 Y's and 4 Z's. But her question is actually if she's used how to have long legs, and so she doesn't have short choppy legs or feel like she's running in the water. And this is something that a lot of swimmers have to develop, because their initial tendency is to kind of run in the water with their legs, or to have some kind of kicking motion that's real big with their knees. So they get like that karate chop motion. So and this is something that a lot of swimmers actually have to get through. Well, it is a best practice to actually lengthen those legs out. You have a little bit of flexion in your knees, and you have a lot of flexion actually in your flexion action that's in your feet, because you want your feet to be floppy. So you want your legs to have a little bit of bend in them. But how do you know if you're doing it right? If you want to check yourself to see if you're doing it right, you want to make sure that you're using the bigger, stronger muscles like in your thighs and in your buttocks. So if you want to check yourself, get a kickboard and do about 4 sprints, 25, as fast as you can with a flutter kick. Do about 4 of them, 4 lengths. And if your thighs are not burning after those 4 lengths of 100% sprint, you are not doing the kick right. You've got way too much knee action that's going on. You need to lengthen those legs out and have that drive going on from the bigger, stronger muscles in your thighs and in your butt. All right, and the last question is from Shivam Bot. This swimmer is actually asking how to keep your legs and your arms actually moving at the same time, because they have a tendency that when they start using their arms, that their legs stop, or if they're focusing just on their kick, they have a hard time syncing up with their arms. And this is actually a very common problem with a lot of swimmers, is that once they start using either the upper or the lower half, the other one stops. They can do independently, they can work on them just fine, but you know, they can't really mix those two together. But this is something that you need to be aware of, and you need to develop at practice. It's not really good on race day if you're into competitive swimming, but it is something at practice that you need to develop the sync and the habit between your upper body and your lower body, because a lot of times the upper body is so powerful with this, when the stroke actually comes in, if you're doing butterfly or backstroke or freestyle, then you kind of see the lower half of your body, like the legs, as irrelevant. And even if you're a lap swimmer, you know, you can get a lot more out of it. You're going to get a lot better cardio fitness, and you're going to get a lot better conditioning if you keep everything active, if you keep your arms active and your legs active, even if your legs are just staying active enough to keep your body in line so your stroke is more efficient. You're going to see a lot more benefits. So guys, that's what I've got for you this week. Thanks a lot for the questions. You guys keep them coming, and I will be sure to get those responses out once a week. In case you're needing some kind of workouts or something, I actually created 30 workouts that I'm offering on Fiverr. If you're not sure what that site is, that's where people offer things for $5. So if you guys would like to support me, or if you would like to get some workouts, I've added a lot of tips and pointers along the way of these workouts to help out the swimmers, so you're not kind of at a standstill, or like, oh, what should I be working on? What should I be focusing on? Well, until next week, I should publish the next episode on next Tuesday. I'm going to try to be very consistent with this and help you guys out. But if you have any questions or comments, then please let me know, and I'll be sure to get those responses out to you as soon as I can. All right, guys, take care. Bye.